Good morning friends and welcome to the pre-market view. From today we are going to have a new fiscal year starting 2013-14 and we hope it actually turns out to be a good year for all the investors and traders. And talking about the global markets update, friends, we had a good session for the US markets and they were up about 0.3 to 0.4% at the record high levels on the back of some positive economic data on the unemployment front. And European markets were also marginally up to about 0.1 to almost about 0.5% as finally the Cypriot banks have opened up, but there were no major negative developments as such, so that came in as a bit of a relief for the Eurozone. And when we look at the Asian markets today, the Japan is down almost about 1% as we had some negative economic indicators coming out from the Japanese economy. Also, the Bank of Japan's monetary policy meet is going to start this week and there could be some amount of caution ahead of that. Hong Kong markets are closed today, but the rest of the Asian markets are marginally negative. In terms of flows, friends, FIs were net buyers in the cash market to the tune of 537 crore and the domestic institutions were sellers to the tune of about 330 odd crore, and in the index futures the FIs were buyers to the tune of about 730 odd crore. Back home, friends, on Thursday being an expiry day, we saw some amount of smart pullback towards the last about 1 hour of trade where most of the banks and few other heavyweights actually managed a pullback and we closed at a decent level, and one will have to see how the April series pans out both in terms of flows and in terms of the overall direction, given that the March was not a great month for us. So our F&O desk will share their perspective on the rollovers and the possible expectation one can have for April. And on that note, let me invite Shaival to take us through those important points.
Good morning friends, let's have a view at derivatives. Friends, we have been seeing that both domestic as well as the global cues has been weighing continuously on the markets, and due to which we have seen that the markets had a turnaround from the upside and has closed marginally, has closed almost flat compared to the previous expiry. Now the data has been clearly suggesting that the worries has been weighing on the market, and we have seen that the PCR ratio has started on a good note at 0.98, whereas if we have a look at the Nifty futures open interest, it has started with 1.21 crore shares in open interest, which is marginally lower compared to the previous series. Now, if I have a look at the rollover activity, now it's been clearly visible from the graph that the lower rollover activity in Nifty as well as the market-wide rollover is lower compared to that of previous month, but also it's significantly lower compared to that compared to 3 and 6 month average rollover. Now, if I talk about the positions being rolled in for the next series, it's been clearly witnessing that marginal whatever positions have been left has been rolled on the short side, as we have seen that the cost of carry has reduced. Now, talking about the implied volatility, the volatility index VIX across the series in the previous series was having was on a roller coaster ride, and we have seen that it has cooled off marginally. Now 5,600 call option stands with the highest number of shares in the open interest on the put side, followed by 5,500, whereas if we have a look on the call side, the activity is widespread in 5,800, 900 and 6,000. So if I take a broad view for this entire series, the break even, the straddle break even on the lower side is 5,522 and on higher side it's 5,878. As 5,600 put option is having a good number of open interest, on short-term basis, this would act as a good support, but from a broader perspective, 5,500 on closing basis would act as a good support, and on higher side, probably this would act as a hurdle. Now, the IVs have been cooling off. Our overall bias for the market is positive. From intraday perspective, ITC is looking positive, so one can go long with stop loss of 307, and one can go short on NTPC with stop loss of 145 rupees 45 paisa. Thank you.
Here are the important news and events that we are tracking today. First of all, the digitization deadline for the second layer of towns and cities is likely to be effective today, and with that the industry is hoping for about 70 to 75% completion of the digitization, which is an important development for some of the companies like Dish TV, Z Entertainment, and some of the cable companies like Hathway Cable, Den Network, so on and so forth. We've been talking about it, but one can expect some positive action in those stocks in today's market. And L&T is likely to make an important strategic announcement. They have scheduled a board meeting today at 10 o'clock. So expect some reaction on the L&T stock of that development. JSPL, which is looking at acquiring a controlling stake in the Gujarat NRE Coke's Australian subsidiary, has managed to acquire only about 31.49% stake so far. So it has not been that successful. So there could be a bit of a negative reaction on the JSPL's stock in today's morning session. And in another development, United Bank of India has filed a petition for winding up Vijay Mallya's UB holdings in Karnataka High Court, as that company, which is Kingfisher, has defaulted on the loan, and the lender had given a corporate guarantee of UB holdings for that loan. So expect some negative reaction in this particular stock UB holding in today's market. Dhanlaxmi Bank, which is a small private sector bank, 5 individuals including a non-resident, Mr. B.K. Ravindran Pillai, is looking at buying about 5% stake in that particular bank at a premium of rupees 50 per share. So expect some positive reaction in Dhanlaxmi Bank stock today. And the power tariff hike has been put on hold in Karnataka because of the model conduct ahead of the election. So this is definitely a bit of a negative news for the power utility companies in the market today. In case of MNC drug, an important Supreme Court verdict is awaited for the patent protection of the Novartis anti-cancer drug Glyvac, and this particular development is not only important for Novartis but also for the large number of MNC pharma companies, because we've seen that some of the products are being launched by the Indian companies with minor modifications. So Supreme Court's judgment on this particular drug is going to be viewed extremely importantly, and that could actually set the tone for some kind of a future trend in the MNC pharma as well as some of the domestic pharmaceutical company stocks. In another development, Glenmark Pharma is looking at launching an affordable version of the diabetic drug called Januvia. So expect some positive reaction in Glenmark stock today. Cadila Pharma has got US FDA approval for the launch of amlodipine Basilate tablet in US market, which is a market size of almost about 2088 crore. So one can go long on Cadila Pharma with a stop loss of 726 and a target of about 763 to about 777. Godrej Properties, there was an important development over the weekend, and it has announced a redevelopment of a project in Malad, which is likely to spread over about 1.3 acres and offer 95,000 square feet of free sale area over the next couple of years. So one can go long on Godrej Properties with a stop loss of 523 and a target of about 545 to about 550. And Sterlite, some negative news as Tamil Nadu Pollution Control Board has ordered the closure of Sterlite Industries copper smelter in the wake of noxious gas leak from that particular smelter. So one can short Sterlite with a stop loss of 96 and a target of about 91 to 89. That's it from all of us, friends. Have a great trading session and see you tomorrow at the same time.